It's time for the Wrestling News Update with Raja Giri.
And we are live with Raja Giri for this week's Wrestling Update. You've got all the scoops and all the news. We're going to get it straight from the horse's mouth. Welcome to the show, Mr. Raja Giri. Raj, how are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on again.
No, we're excited to be on with you and excited to hit some headlines. I got to ask you, right before we actually went live with this show, I saw a report from WrestleNomics about TKO ticket prices. Can you tell us what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, basically what we've kind of already known, right, is that ticket prices have been going up under TKO a lot. And, you know, an interesting thing in that article is that ticket sales are actually up from last year and the year before. So even with the increased ticket prices, the number of tickets being distributed have been going up. So, you know, it's one of those things we've talked about on this show before, where it seems like ticket prices may have been a little underpriced before under Vince, but then again, under Vince, the product didn't get as hot until really after he started until he was kind of ousted from creative. So it's tough to say, but, you know, they've seen with UFC what they can charge. Obviously, they're trying to shift WWE into that area, and we'll see if they can get there. I mean, you know, I was looking at prices for the Denver SmackDown coming up next month, and it's probably about double what I've ever seen for that show, at least. So it's going up, but, you know, home prices and football tickets and everything have been going up as well. But it was noted in that article that WWE tickets are going up at a faster rate. It seems like they're trying to make up for lost time, and we'll see. You know, I know some people are like, can this sustain? And until people stop buying tickets, obviously it can.
I mean, doesn't it make sense, Raj and Conrad? I mean, you have a product, it's a widget, and you sell that widget. People go, "Wow, I really like that widget." So you raise the price a little more, and they go, "Whoa, I want more of those widgets." Mm-hmm. And you keep building widgets, and you keep increasing that price until you find your threshold. Mm-hmm. And then once you find your threshold, you then begin to adjust your prices accordingly, meaning you'll have your sales, you'll reduce ticket prices if research indicates that you're starting to drop off, ticket sales are starting to decline. But until you know where that is, I'm not shocked, but it's interesting to me that people are surprised that any company will continue to increase the price of the product until they find that threshold.
Yeah, we've seen it in the past with pay-per-view. You know, like I remember when Mayweather fought McGregor and fought Pacquiao, and the pay-per-view price was like $100, and people were like, "Oh, this is just too much. They've gone way too far," and it ended up being the biggest pay-per-views of all time. So if there's a demand for it, people will pay. I know it's tough for others who want to go and they're feeling like they're outpriced and they've been fans of the product for a long time, but the one thing is, if there is a demand for these tickets, if WWE doesn't or TKO doesn't charge these prices, StubHub and the other ticket brokers will. So they'll collect those tickets and sell those at a higher price. So
another really good point.
Yeah. So whether it's AEW, whether it's WWE, if you underprice your tickets, someone else is going to overprice.
I wonder how WWE ticket sales compare to, you know, it's hard to come up with comps, but rock and roll, you know, concerts. What if ticket prices done over the last 12 months on a percentage basis compared to what WWE has done in the past 12 months on a percentage basis? It'd be interesting to see what other forms of value entertainment that people actually go to, what those ticket prices have been tracking like. Because I can tell you from our own experience in only 2 events of Real American Freestyle, I am absolutely shocked when I look at some of the prices for buildings that I previously worked in and produced television in. I mean, It's a different world today financially than it was even 8 years ago. So, I mean, everybody's got to eat those costs, and they're passing them on to the consumer. So with all the research people like to do and analysis, it'd be fun to see somebody compare, you know, the top 5 rock and roll shows and ticket prices over the last 12 months and compare that to WWE's ticket price increase and see where they sit.
Raj, 22 years ago, Charlie Munger was actually quoted as saying, He was quoting his friend Bill, and he said he was ahead of the Beckman instruments, and it produced some complicated product where it failed and it caused enormous damage to the purchaser. It wasn't a pump at the bottom of an oil well, but that's a good mental example. And you realize that the reason this thing was selling so poorly, even though it was better than anybody else's product, was because it was priced lower. It made people think it was a low quality gizmo. So he raised the price by 20% or so, and the volume went way up. And I know that's been the case with the UFC. Like when the UFC first started to take off, and because I was going to UFC before it was really popuar. I'm not trying to be that guy, but I'm just saying I remember affordably priced tickets. I sat front row at UFCs, and I bought them on third parties like StubHub, and they were like $1,000 a seat, and that's third party. You can't get anywhere close to that now. But I was there in those arenas, and they were not full. Now that the ticket prices are astronomical, they are full. It feels like this thing to aspire to. It feels like a more important night out. It feels like now it's easier to get a ticket to Hamilton, but I saw it in 2016 when it was the hot ticket and it was a hard ticket to get. It was packed, and it was because it was hard to get. It was because it was expensive. There is something with human psychology there that is at play here with these tickets, don't you think?
Absolutely. And you see that when a concert comes, or like you mentioned, Hamilton, when you know it's something that's going to sell out quick, that builds your own excitement, like it builds that anticipation for that event. It's just human nature. And, you're absolutely right. We went to Taylor Swift a couple of years ago, and I remember the amount that they're charging on the secondary market was multiple times of what, Taylor Swift was charging on Ticketmaster. And so that's all revenue that's not going to her. That's going to these other outlets. So, it's all supply and demand at the end. And what we've seen, because at that same WrestleNomics article, they noted that AEW ticket prices have gone down this year and their attendance has gone down. So WWE price has gone up and their attendance has gone up. Now, I do think ultimately with pro wrestling, there is going to be, a level that you hit where it does start to come down, and we might be getting there sooner than later, but I just haven't gotten there yet. So it's smart business. I know it looks greedy to a lot of people, but it just makes all the sense in the world looking from the outside in, as far as a financial decision.
Well, I'm interested to see how the rest of the wrestling world processes that information, because it does feel like the exact opposite of what people expected. And I'll admit, I was a little shocked last week when I looked and I saw that John Cena's last match was not sold out. And then I remembered, wait a minute, this is the new TKO. They've jacked the prices up. Prices are way high. And now on some level, Eric, even though this goes against the way Vince McMahon saw things, a sellout's almost a bad thing, because it makes you wonder, hey, did we price it too low? If you're going to sell out, you want to sell out like the day before or the day of. If it's an immediate sellout, maybe we left money on the table. What do you think of that, Eric?
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at socials this morning in anticipation of the show, and I noticed, I think it's WrestleTix. I was looking at a WWE event. I think it was SmackDown in the middle of December, scaled for 16,000. They've only got 1,000 tickets left, something like that. And we're, months out, month and a half out, whatever it is. I mean, yeah, you kind of wonder, where's that threshold? How much money am I leaving on the table? But as Raja pointed out, man, they're continuing to sell tickets. 3 months out, they'll be sold out probably weeks before the show.
How does this affect at all the AEW approach, Raj? We know that AEW has gone the other way when there was first speculation or talk of rising WWE ticket prices. I saw some local ads on social media that AEW was putting out talking about how affordable it was for a family. And every time Eric and I talk about this on social or even here in the comments on YouTube, we'll see comments from people who wanted to take their kids to see WWE, but they couldn't, even though they could a couple of years ago. Is that an opportunity for AEW, or in your opinion, or is it a mistake to target the lower, more affordable ticket prices?
Well, I think it's smart on AEW's part because, basically they're taking a negative, like a drop in ticket sales that they've experienced, but spinning it with a positive, like, hey, our competition is overpricing their tickets and we're bringing ours down. We're more family friendly. So you kind of switch the narrative. So in that respect, I think it's smart. We haven't seen it make a difference yet. And maybe it will, but ultimately what it comes down to is the product being hot and feeling hot. And until they get there, I don't think people are going to go, well, I'm not interested in this product, but tickets are only $60, so I'll go. Ultimately, you need to get them interested in wanting to go to the show.
SaveWithConrad.com.
Yeah, I'm Justin Bruckman from Knoxville, Tennessee. What got me to Save with Conrad was the 83 Weeks podcast. I really wasn't thinking about getting rid of any debt. I just wanted to cash out some equity in the house to do remodeling. But I did both, so that was pretty awesome. Worked out great. Redid the foyer, built pantry space, and there's little odds and ends when I first bought the house that I wanted to take care of, and we were able to take care of it. So, yeah, paid off 2 cars and some credit card debt. So probably all in all, getting $30,000 in that, and then I got some $30,000 more equity out of the house, and still plenty of equity left over. So payment's good. I lowered my interest rate. I'm in a much better spot than I was. Super easy. Everybody was great. Very, very awesome people. Francis and Steve were great to work with. They're awesome. Made it for a very easy, seamless experience. I'd probably say all in all, probably $1,000 a month at least. I lowered my interest rate, especially the way the interest rates are right now, which is, that's amazing. I'm Justin Bruckman from Knoxville, Tennessee. I saved over $1,000 with SaveWithConrad.com, and I did a lot of renovations with that money as well.
That's number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.